Have you ever felt trapped by your environment? Like your destiny was written before you were even born? Welcome back to Movies Minute. Today we are breaking down a true masterpiece of inspiration, October Sky. In the town of Colwood, West Virginia, life happens underground. You grow up, you graduate, and you go down into the mines. It's a cycle as black as the coal dust that covers every inch of the town. But one night in 1957, a streak of light across the sky changed everything. This is the story of a boy who dared to look up when everyone else was looking down. Our story begins at the Hickam family dinner table, a place where silence is usually the main course. The eldest son, Jim, is boasting about his football scholarship, the golden ticket out of this dying town. But the younger son, Homer, has a different idea. With his head down, smiling at a secret thought, he mumbles, "I'm gonna build a rocket." The spoon freezes in his father's hand. His brother looks at him like he's grown his second head. His mother thinks she misheard. So Homer says it again, clear as day. Build a rocket. His father, John Hickam, the tough, no-nonsense superintendent of mine, just stares. The family laughs it off. His mother, Elsie, offers a warning that sounds like a joke, but isn't. Well, just don't blow yourself up. Little did they know, he was about to do exactly that. To understand Homer, you have to understand the world he lives in. It's October 1957. The Soviet Union has just launched Sputnik, the first artificial satellite. America is in a panic. They're terrified of what the Russians can do. But when the people of Colwood step out into the freezing night to watch that tiny star streak across the sky, Homer doesn't feel fear. He feels called. While his neighbors see a threat, Homer sees the future. He stands there long after the crowd disperses, staring into the abyss, his heart pounding with a dream that is way too big for a coal miner's son. But dreams don't survive easily in Colwood. When he tells his friends, they laugh. When he tells his dad, it's a flat rejection. John Hickam is a man of the earth. He digs for a living. The sky is for dreamers, and dreamers don't put food on the table. Homer isn't deterred. He grabs his friends, Roy, Lee, and Odell, and they decide to build a rocket. They have zero experience, zero math skills, and a lot of gunpowder for fireworks. You ready? Homer asks. Yeah, 10, 9, 8. Bam! The explosion rips through the silence. They didn't build a rocket, they built a bomb. The blast completely destroys his mother's white picket fence. The fence is gone, but the dream? The dream is just getting started. Homer realizes enthusiasm isn't enough. He needs brains. He sets his sights on Quentin, the school outcast, the class genius who eats lunch alone. His friends warn him, social suicide, Homer. You talk to him, and you're a pariah. Homer doesn't care. He walks right up to Quentin and asks the million-dollar question. Do you know anything about rockets? Quentin pushes up his glasses. Of course I do. And just like that, the Rocket Boys are born. They set up shop in Homer's basement. It's a montage of sawing iron pipes, mixing dangerous chemicals, and welding fins. They are messy, loud, and brilliant. They hit a wall with a nozzle design. They need a welder. Homer sneaks to the machine shop and begs a worker, Mr. Bykovsky, for help. Bykovsky knows John Hickam would fire him for wasting company time on toys, but he sees the fire in Homer's eyes. He agrees to help, sealing their secret pact. But you can't hide a rocket forever. The principal, Mr. Turner, catches them and confiscates their latest model, calling it a death trap. Enter Miss Riley, the science teacher. She sees something in these boys that no one else does. She saves the rocket and plants a seed, the National Science Fair. If you win, she tells them, you get scholarships. You get out. She looks at Homer, who doubts himself because his math is weak. She leans in, stern but kind. Homer, you've got a great mind. You can't just dream your way out of Colwood. Emboldened, the boys prepare Hawkeye, named after a bird that couldn't fly. Appropriate. Homer lights the fuse. He dives behind a metal sheet. Whoosh! It flies. For a second, it's beautiful. Then it turns. It swirls. It screams through the air like a heat-seeking missile and dives straight toward the mine office. Chaos. John Hickam is furious. He stands in the wreckage, humiliates Homer in front of the workers, and bans them from ever building rockets on company property again. He crushes the rocket and throws in the trash. It's a brutal scene. The father isn't just angry about safety. He's angry because he thinks Homer is rejecting his heritage. Later that night, the tension explodes at home. Homer yells that his dad would be proud if his football star brother blew up a building. But because it's science, it's trash. John snaps back. "You don't know what the mine means. You're just a boy." Homer screams, "I will never go down into that mine." Homer storms out into the rain. He finds his rocket equipment thrown into the dirt outside. He gathers his broken tools, soaked to the bone, looking like a captain whose ship has sunk. Things are looking pretty hopeless for the Rocket Boys right now. But I have to ask you guys, do you think the father, John, is actually the villain here? Or is he just a man trying to protect his son from a world he thinks is impossible to reach? It's a tough dynamic. Let me know in the comments whose side you're on, Homer or his dad. And if you're enjoying this recap, hit that like button to help us launch this video to more people. Homer refuses to quit. If they can't launch in town, they'll launch 8 miles away. They trek into the wilderness, carrying cement and steel. They build a launch pad from scratch. They call it Cape Colwood. It becomes their sanctuary. They need better fuel. Quentin suggests mixing potassium chloride and sugar. They mix it in a pot, like witches brewing a potion. It's unstable, it's dangerous, and when they test it, FWOSH, a pillar of pink fire shoots into the sky. They have their fuel, but the failures keep coming. Ankh-4 explodes. Ankh explodes. It's a montage of failure. Winter turns to summer, and they keep blowing things up. But they learn. They realize air bubbles in the fuel are causing the explosions. They switch to liquid binders, alcohol. Finally, a launch day arrives. A crowd has gathered. People who used to mock them are now watching. Miss Riley is there. Homer lights the fuse. This time, the rocket doesn't turn. It doesn't explode. It soars. It pierces the clouds, straight and true. The roar of the engine is matched only by the roar of the crowd. Homer returns home on high, holding a letter from Wernher von Braun, the famous rocket scientist. He shows his dad. John Hickam doesn't even look up from his paper. Stop worrying about von Braun and worry about your town. It's a crushing blow. No matter how high the rockets fly, the father refuses to look up. Success brings attention, and attention brings trouble. A forest fire burns near the town. The police arrive at the school. They arrest the Rocket Boys, claiming a stray rocket caused the fire. It's a lie, but Homer can't prove it. Handcuffed, humiliated, their launch pad is shut down. Then tragedy strikes. A massive explosion rocks the mine. The siren wails, a sound that freezes the blood of everyone in Colwood. Homer runs to the mine. Men are being carried out on stretchers. He sees Mr. Baikovsky, his friend who helped with the welding. He didn't make it. Then they bring out John. He's alive, but his eye is crushed, his leg broken. With the father unable to work, the family faces eviction. Someone has to provide. Jim has his football scholarship. That leaves Homer. In a heartbreaking scene, Homer drops out of school. He puts away his math books and picks up a helmet. He descends into the blackness of the elevator shaft, watching the square of sunlight, and his dreams get smaller and smaller until they vanish. Homer becomes a miner. He comes home covered in black dust, his hands calloused. He sees the world through his father's eyes now. He understands the brotherhood of the miners, the danger and the pride. But his soul is dying. One day, his mother tells him Miss Riley is sick. Hodgky, they are back in the game. They win the county science fair. They're going to the National Science Fair in Indianapolis. But the mine is on strike. Violence is escalating. Shots are fired into the Hickam house. John Hickam is under immense pressure. When Homer tries to say goodbye before leaving for the fair, his father snaps. The town is dying. The mine is dying. And you want to run away? Homer screams back, "I'm going to space, Dad." Homer arrives in the city. He's a country boy among the elite, but his display is incredible. People are talking about the Rocket Boys. Then disaster. Someone steals his rocket nozzles, the most critical part of his display. Without them, he's disqualified. He calls home in a panic. He needs new nozzles. The only person who can make them fast enough is his father. But the strike is ongoing. The machine shop is locked down. Homer's mom, Elsie, takes the phone. She turns to John. This is her moment. She threatens to leave him. I will live in a tree if I have to. You help that boy, John. For the first time, John Hickam relents. He crosses the picket line, fires up the lathe, and builds the nozzle. He saves his son's dream. Homer gets the parts. He wins the gold medal, the highest honor. He returns to Colwood a hero. The whole town turns out. But Homer looks for one face in the crowd. His dad. He's not there. Homer goes to the hospital to see Miss Riley. She is dying, but when he shows her the gold medal, she weeps. It wasn't just a science project. It was her life's work validated. The boys prepare for the final launch of the Miss Riley, their biggest rocket yet. Homer stands at the launch pad. He turns to the crowd. He thanks his friends, his teachers, the town. And then a car pulls up. John Hickam steps out. The crowd parts. The father walks up to the son. He looks at the rocket, then at Homer. He puts his hand on Homer's shoulder. It's awkward, stiff, but it speaks volumes. Homer asks, "Do you want to push the button, Dad?" John nods. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom! The rocket screams into the atmosphere, higher than ever before. It pierces the clouds. John Hickam looks up. For the first time in his life, he isn't looking at the ground. He's watching his son fly. He smiles. And in that smile, years of conflict melt away. The screen fades to black with the reality of what happened next. The town of Colwood eventually died out. The mines closed. John Hickam passed away from black lung disease in 1976. Miss Riley died at just 31 years old. But the Rocket Boys? They made it. They all went to college. And Homer Hickam? He became a NASA engineer, training astronauts for the space shuttle. October Sky isn't just a movie about rockets. It's about the crushing weight of expectation and the incredible force required to break free from gravity, both literal and social. It reminds us that sometimes you have to disobey the people you love to become the person they'll be proud of. Thanks for watching this recap on movies. If this story inspired you, smash that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a story. Keep looking up, and I'll see you in the next one.